Hey everybody, and welcome to hashtag for the health of it. Now we always say, penny for your thoughts, or food for your thoughts. In that instance, here's the thing: when you talk about food for your thoughts, you're actually talking about your brain health. You're talking about what can you
Hey
eat to
everybody, and welcome to
really
hashtag for
fuel
the
it
health of
in
it. Now we
and fuel it
always
up.
say,
Now hold up, I
penny for
am
your
being
thoughts, or
hearing myself here, right? Technology, you gotta love it, everyone. But here's the thing: when we say food for your thoughts, we're actually talking about what you're consuming that really allows you to create the optimal environment for your cognitive health and your cognitive well-being to really peak at its optimal and do what you can do from what your intake perspective. Right now, as always, every Tuesday we are joined by the one, the only leading clinical nutritionist around, Charlotte, and she's here to share some of her expert insight when it comes to food and your cognitive health. Charlotte, good day and welcome.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Charlotte, food and our cognitive health, many people take this for granted. We think of food as either being for energy, or we think of food as being, taking it to manage weight, or we take food for, I don't know, for muscle growth or for aesthetic appeal. But very rarely do we think of food in relation to our cognitive health. Is there a link?
There is a huge link. And you know what's so important? Because let's just start from the beginning, is the diet of the mother while she is pregnant. So this is where the whole process starts. If you have an inadequate diet in the mother who's pregnant, then the baby is born already disadvantaged. And here's the problem: is because the brain is made up mostly of fat. It's one big blob of fat, actually. So if you don't get the right kind of fat, your brain does not function effectively. So it's not just about avoiding foods that create more inflammation and all of that. It's about making sure you get the right ingredients to make your brain function effectively. So that's really what we start. And I want to start with fat because this is where it's so important to get the right fats for your brain. Right from the word go, and until you get to patients like I deal with now in their 80s and 90s with dementia, and even those who are getting Alzheimer's disease in their 50s and 60s. So it starts at birth, before birth, actually during gestation.
I love this because, I mean, there's no magic pill to prevent cognitive decline. So, no single almighty brain food can ensure a sharp brain as you age. But there is an important strategy that one could follow with a healthy eating pattern that includes a variety of foods to really get the most out of looking after one's cognitive health. But, like you said, you want to start off with one of the key things when we talk about what we need to consume, which is fat. Charlotte, how does fat play a role in our cognitive health?
Well, first of all, one of the main ingredients in a neural function and brain function is a product called DHA, and well, EPA becomes DHA. So these are fats. I'm not going to go into their long name because they're very difficult to pronounce, but these fats are found mostly in fatty fish, so things like sardines and mackerel and so on, but also in algae. So even if you're a vegan, you can get these fats from vegan sources, all right? And they are found in raw nuts and seeds like flax seeds, walnuts, and so on. So these fats are made into as much DHA, well, you get converted into as much DHA as is required by the brain, vital for cognitive development in utero. Okay. And I've done a whole presentation on pregnancy, and I start off with this because it is so important. In those first 10 weeks is when all the development takes place. After that, it's growth. So if you've missed the boat in those first 10 weeks of pregnancy or gestation, then you haven't capitalized on the contribution that you as a parent or as a mother can make to that child. So that's very, very, very important that you get that in.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, I got you so far, Charlotte. So when we're looking at the ideal sources of this fat that we need to consume to look after our cognitive function, but not to negate other areas of our health as well. What are some of those key sources and how often should we be eating them?
Okay, on a daily basis, you need to eat things like, as I say, fatty fish. If you don't like fish or you don't eat fish, then foods like flaxseed, walnuts, You can get a supplement like it that's extracted from algae, as I mentioned earlier. You can get avocados, olive oil. I prefer the extra virgin olive oil. So there's lots of those foods that you can get. You don't have to have them in huge quantities. You just have to have them in your diet on a daily basis.
All right, you just got to have them in your diet on a daily basis. Charlotte, is there a benefit of having meat-free meals, especially red meat, when it comes to looking after our cognitive health?
You know, there's no question that the whole trend globally in terms of nutrition is going towards more a meat-free environment. Um, Certainly, I would say that the more plant foods that are in your diet, the better and the healthier you're going to become, or the more nutrition you will gain. That doesn't put meat onto the bad list. If your meat is not a feedlot grown, if the cows or the cattle get fresh pasture, they are fed well, then they are better for you. You know, so yes, you don't need it in as great a quantity as we tend to do, and this is where meat just gets a bad rep, is because people who eat meat often just eat meat and starch and no vegetables. So guess what gets the bad rap? It's meat, okay. But in fact, what they're doing is that they're not having all the fruits and vegetables. And they may also be having a lot of fast food, like hamburgers and processed foods. So there's nothing so much wrong with meat per se. It depends on the source, how it's grown, or how it's what food the cattle get, and how much you have. Okay, it's still a very good source of iron, lots of minerals, vitamin B12, and so on. So I don't want to put meat in the bad category. Okay.
Okay,
But
I
I do want
get you.
to
I get you.
emphasize that you need to add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. Okay.
So if you like your inyama, yes, you there. If you like your inyama, just put in a bit of the what veggies there. You know what I'm saying? Grab some of the spinach, grab some of the colorful veg. Charlotte always says, let your plate be colorful with veggies. Charlotte, what about the Mediterranean diet? Or I mean, some people have even said it's the APDQS diet, a priori diet quality score. Is that really something we should be mindful of when it comes to especially Alzheimer's? As we know, many people have, some the Alzheimer's is setting in a lot earlier in many people's lives, and I know people, even in our team that have had people close to them, live with Alzheimer's, and it is heart wrenching and heartbreaking. I do know there's research out there, and some of the research is pointing towards the Mediterranean diet. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, so there's now been published a diet called the Mind Diet,
Yes.
which is actually a marriage between the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. Ultimately, I see the two being the same. I don't see this huge difference between them. So really what they're trying to do is push the plant foods. So you're getting all the nutrients that are in that. In terms of Alzheimer's disease, there's no question that a lot of saturated fats tends to aggravate the expression. It's called the ApoE gene. And in that ApoE gene, you've got E1, you've got E2, you've got E3 and E4. If you've got either E3 or E4 or a combination of those two, your risk of getting Alzheimer's disease is greater. You add a lot of saturated fat to that profile, and you are more than likely going to get Alzheimer's disease. And if you don't get Alzheimer's, you'll get some form of dementia as you get older. So what that means is, what are we talking about with the saturated fat? We are talking about things like, yes, the fat in meat, lots of cheese, but we are also talking of the bad fats that are in processed foods. Okay, so bear in mind, the moment you heat vegetable fats, the moment you heat any fat, but particularly the vegetable fats, they are more unstable and they create the trans fats. So whilst everybody is saying, yes, a diet that's high in saturated fat encourages the growth or the development of Alzheimer's disease, what they should also be saying is that diet is probably very deficient in vegetables, particularly your colorful vegetables and your healthy fats. And it's difficult to say just that trajectory is going to cause Alzheimer's disease. but definitely that pattern seems to exist in people who eat a lot of meat. Okay. And you condemn almost the wrong thing in the diet.
Wow. Charlotte, I always say this. You and I can talk for months and years about the impact of health and nutrition on every facet of our physiology and our being. And many people, they tend to forget that. And it's a really relevant fact. What I want to say is that, Charlotte, if you could give us the top 3 things we should be aware of what to eat, not to eat, steer away from, include into our eating plans, the top 3 things when it comes to being proactive about looking after your cognitive health, what would those 3 things be?
Okay, can I make it a little bit more than 3? Okay.
Go for it, Charlotte. The floor is
Okay.
yours.
So what you need to eat are your healthy fats: avocados, raw nuts and seeds, fatty fish, olive oil, or a source of omega-3, even if it's from algae. Correct. Right. That's 1. Okay. Secondly, you have to have enough good quality protein, whether that's plant protein or it's from animal protein. You don't have to have too much, but you need enough. Thirdly, you have to have the rainbow on your plate, as much color as possible in your vegetables and your fruits. And in terms of your fruits like berries, all kinds of berries, pineapple as well, bananas to a certain extent, but definitely the berry seems to carry the most nutrient-dense foods or nutrients for the brain. What you should not eat, number 1, and you know what I'm going to say here, is sugar. Okay.
Charlotte, hashtag stop eating sugar.
Okay.
Sugar.
Okay, so cut out the sugar, right? Cut out the processed foods. Cut them out. Okay, they are treats once in a while, right? And cut out, I was going to say too much alcohol, but certainly smoking and alcohol fall into that same category. Definitely nicotine and cigarette smoking is very, very bad for your brain because it reduces your blood flow. It adds all those toxins to the brain. Yeah. So from a lifestyle point of view, I know it's not food, but really cut that out.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cut it out. So, Charles, there you go, right? So you might say to yourself, but Ronald, Charlotte says the similar things you should be cutting out, but she justifies why for every condition and every topic we talk about. So it is really about, if you haven't heard it, maybe you should listen to it in this context. Don't just cut sugar out for this. Look at the impact of sugar on the body and then decrease how much of it you're consuming, and then have it as a treat, have it as a every now and then. Like when Charlotte decides to make brownies for the office, that's when we'll have it. I'm just saying, Charlotte, I'm giving an example to change how people view it. It's like I said about earlier in the year, Charlotte, I spoke about resolutions, and many people focus on building New Year's resolutions as the year starts. And I said, well, the research showed that in the first month, 90% of people fall off the wagon when it comes to those New Year's resolutions. Why? Because you need to build up a new habit. Rather flip it around to start with and maybe create an anti-resolution. So cut out on a bad habit before you choose to build up on a new habit. So cut out sugar, cut out smoking, vaping, hookah, piping, and all those other things that go with it. And that's an easier opt-in for you as you opt out of those things that you maybe think that you got used to as just part of your life. That could be an option, as Charlotte has alluded to. Charlotte, as always, I feel inspired, I feel informed, I feel educated and part of this community. Everybody, check out My Health 360 on Facebook. If you want to form part of a team, a community, whereby we have the experts available, Charlotte's on there, answering questions, you are chatting to like-minded individuals who want to know more about health and nutrition, who are addressing issues of weight loss, who are addressing issues of their health when it comes to nutrition. And Charlotte is there weekly answering your questions. Who else can say that you got access to one of the world's leading experts for free? But being part of the My Health 360 community. No one. But we are giving that to you because our goal in our business is to give people all the information they need to live as healthy as they can. Well-doing are the habits that you build up, and when you have the information to build up those habits, you will thrive within well-being for you. Check out myhealth360.co.za and check out our Facebook group. And if you want more of Charlotte's wisdom, she developed beautiful micro-learning courses, self-learning programs on weight loss mastery, and others that you could then purchase on MyHealth360. If you're looking to reward yourself and to invest into your health and well-being, check it out, because she's available and she's on there. Until tomorrow, stay fit, stay healthy, and stay safe. Bye, Charlotte.